Now, the 9 o'clock news with Martin Lewis.
A revolution in broadcasting. Dozens of TV channels, hundreds of radio stations are on the way.
'86, '87, we were like just young lads growing up, not much hope to be out there, you know. There was no direction in them days telling you what you're going to do for a living, what your aspirations were. Going up to the city centre, you'd be out drinking, then there'd be different groups of lads from different parts of the town, Tile Hill, Bell Green, Wood End, Willenhall, and inevitably where drink was concerned, you know, it was quite a violent place, but in a city place to live in back in the day.
Coventry was a very industrial city, so it was built on the car industry, and prior to that, bicycles. When you looked at the car factory, it wasn't a small employer. When they closed it, they brought a lot of economic hardship towards that area.
It was just a real bleak, period in this country's history. It was real dark.
There was a bit of a recession going on with Maggie Thatcher.
People losing jobs and places closing constantly.
The whole format of people's livelihoods, which was closing all the collieries and stuff like that.
So the ideas that you'd have a job for life started to all disappear. They created a big vacuum. This also leads to things such as why some people start to drink too much or took their frustration out in a violent way against other people. It's not that that person's a bad person, it's the environment that they're growing up in or the environment that they find themselves in.
You had no-go areas, depending on where you were from and what you looked like. You couldn't go to certain areas in the city without getting hassled.
Football hooliganism was a very big thing. Homophobia was a big thing.
There was total turmoil, so there was kind of the racial turmoil.
But there is a lot of troubles between anyone who's considered different.
Everybody was fighting against everybody. And then when the football come along, everybody was behind Cov City, no matter what area you were from. You're fighting against people from Birmingham, like Villa and Leicester.
If we was playing Cov on a Saturday, we would come to Coventry early. We'd come in either cars or vans and try and mingle in with you. You had a pub outside the ground where we tried to get in and take over. Only about 20 of us would get in because we would get sussed and Bill chases off who was in there. Then we'd get chased down the hill. About 600 lads used to chase us.
Coventry in them days had a big firm, well renowned and feared throughout the country.
Coventry was one of the ones where you had to be on your toes. If you weren't, you was getting it.
You go to Coventry, you're going to get the row.
We weren't expected to go into business and make good money. We were basically brought up to say, as soon as you turn 16, 17, you get a job, you work, and if you give us a board.
We were on the door in back end of 88, 89, the Tally-O in Coventry.
I was on a course, a yacht course. It was a government course where you got £23.50 a week for working in a factory for a bit of experience, but it was slave trade. They were getting all their dirty bits of work done by me. So I opted out of that.
And then along came dance music. It was sort of creeping into the pubs and creeping into the nights as the nights wore on.
Me and Kieran were in, like I said, Shambles Arcade. We were having a breakfast in there. A lad called Robbie Lyons, he turned up and he was saying, there's a thing happening in Ibiza at the minute. It's all about rave music. Everyone's taking ecstasy.
It was a cultural thing, a youth thing. Everyone was taking them. Your poppers, your amyl nitrate, your ecstasy, where it filtered on up through the dance scene. Originated in a lot of the gay clubs in and around London.
He said it's absolutely brilliant. And we were like, yeah, you're taking drugs? Because we didn't take drugs and stuff like that. When he explained it, it seemed like it was pretty cool to do it.
Sort of said, here, do you want half of one of these? You're going to try something, tried it, and boom, and just an explosion of ecstasy went off everywhere. Then it was you know, over to the Reflections nightclub across from the Tally-Ho, and the music just gripped hold of you. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, just we couldn't get enough of it. Wherever there was a rave, word of mouth took you there, you know, carloads, you know, you're in convoys all firing off up and down the country. It was a dance music revolution where everybody sort of dropped their barriers and dropped their hardness.
People that normally didn't like each other actually started to like each other. Enemies from before, it was like, you know what, mate, you're sound you are. I didn't mean to say what you about you, you know, I thought you were a right wankers.
Some of these lads that, you know, you'd look at before think, fucking hell, I wouldn't like to mess with him. We're now giving you a hug. You were sort of getting on.
And it brought people together. The music, and it was the ecstasy at the time, like the drugs and that, you know, which helped towards it. Everybody started getting on, and I'd look sometimes and think, oh my God, look at who Bam's talking to. You know, all the different areas, Canley, Balgreen, Binley, they all just became friends. It was mad, but it was brilliant to watch as well.
There wasn't really anything to go to in Coventry where we could sample it ourselves.
Then we put together this little party thing, and that was sort of the start of Amnesia House. That's what we called it, Amnesia. The reason why we called it Amnesia is because of this lad that he'd just come back from Ibiza, and we says, well, where do they do it over there?
Amnesia, the club in Spain, the legendary Amnesia.
What we're going to call ours then? He goes, call yours Amnesia as well, because everyone will think it's come from Spain. And that's what we do. So we sort of stole their name, but we called it Amnesia House. We went to this canal road, spoke to the bloke. I think Kieran might have given him 100 quid.
And they'd written these little flyers out, handwritten flyers out.
We photocopied it. I think we did about 300 photocopies of this little piece of paper that we wrote out.
My parents were publicans. There at the Red House, there was like a big rhythm and blues sort of night on a Sunday. So there was all like the sort of sound systems in there.
We got some rastas from Hillfields that come and brought a sound system for us.
You knew then where to go. Oh right, they set the raves up, they've got the dance, they've got the production, so away you went. And that kind of how it linked, sort of the cultural links with a lot of the guys who were, you know, the Caribbean sort of aspect from Coventry, like an egg that all come together. Before the shell was all cracked, when ecstasy come about and the dance music, it kind of welded everything together, so to speak.
Yo, when this party started right. Yo, when this party started right. Come on.
Memories of it was Bam coming home, and he'd got me a pair of dungarees, denim dungarees, and he's like, this is what you're wearing tonight. We went to Canal Road in Fosal.
200 people turned up for that, the first one.
I can't even remember who the DJs were, because I was a bit, whoa, what's going on here?
We ended up with Jeff Parris playing there and a couple of other DJs.
Jeff was on the DJing and all that, and me, Jeff, I think it was, I don't know, 5 of them.
I'd just come out of prison, something I'm not proud of. I was in for football violence, you know. You know, it was, I got arrested for chinning basically an Aston Villa fan, sorry Villa. I actually had a grubby tash when I came out of prison, I looked a right twat. So anyway, I opened the door and this acid paint.
It was just rough and ready. That's what it was, just a car auction warehouse. Smiley faces everywhere, you know, because it was acid, man.
Everyone dancing like, it was wicked like.
Did you flash your lights? No,
that was the start of Amnesia.
So that's when it began for us anyway, you know, like in Coventry. I was interviewed then afterwards by the police, and they didn't intervene, to be fair. I said, look, there's no alcohol on sale, it's just dance music. We're having a get together, and they had like sort of some cameras and some tripods and some binoculars on a rooftop across from the venue. But they didn't sort of come. There was no trouble there.
This is the latest sound.
We just done that one event. That was the first like all-night event, and then Kieran says, "Why don't we do another one?" And I was like, "Yeah, it'd be a good idea. There's a lot more people into it now." We went and seen this old barn, what was just derelict. Yeah, this is ideal. So we spoke to the man with the sound system again. We had Jeff with the decks and all that. We just, another little flyer. You could write one flyer out, you could print them 6 at a time, not one at a time. Cool. Cut them all down. We didn't sort of count the first one, Canal Road, as a rave. It was just a little get together. But this one was like a proper party sort of thing. Do you know? We're getting a bit more organised here and that. The second one, the police were sort of all over the place. They were trying to stop this party. Can't believe they didn't go there and check this building for the second time to make sure we weren't doing it in there. People again walking up this drive, probably 2 miles long.
And that's when the police helicopters turned up.
And he'd have his light down on the rave, and we didn't even know where the rave was. Oh God, the police, what's going on here? We thought it was some strategy, but they were actually guiding us to the rave.
And everyone's going, hey, all clapping the police helicopter, and they're walking up to the venue. But the police just stayed, they must have stayed there for about half an hour with its light going. It weren't even on the venue, it was on the path, as if to say, go on, everyone get in there quick, sort of thing.
The whole thing blew, the electrics blew. It was like, there was no music.
We had an ice cream band in the barn. He turned the music on in the ice cream band, you know, the ice cream music.
And they were all dancing to that while we were getting sorted out the sound system. It was, that was quite bizarre, that was, yeah, I remember that. The helicopters were out, the police were out, but they couldn't stop it. Everyone was there.
They just could not believe that we were in this place to just dance. You know, I don't know what they thought we were getting up to. I'd love to know as it goes, but we were in there to take a pill and dance and forget our worries. That's all we wanted to do.
We were in a little cocoon. We were just in our own little world. We didn't have, we just had Jeff and Dobbo and people like that.
Coventry was on fire with illegal raves. They were doing them in parks, they were doing them in Brook.
In a marquee, and the lads had to drag the sound system over the train tracks, over backyard and fucking in through fences, and in order to avoid the Alville and get it off.
There was one at a warehouse in Tile Hill. It was called the Final Frontier. Don't forget, in them days, you didn't even have record bags, you just had record boxes, or you just had, you have milk crates. And my mum used to have a milk crate, and I actually nicked my mum's milk crate to put my tunes in to take up there. The actual sound at the party was good sound, but for some reason it kept on cutting out. And every time the sound come out, Mickey Finn's cousin would open the boot of his car and open the 4 doors and just blast the music. So it was mad. So like you'd have all the music playing from the actual rave coming through the loudspeakers, it would cut out, and then everyone would start dancing when the doors and the boot of the car opened. You'd have music, then it'd be the car, you'd have music, then it was the car.
It was in a river in the Neaton, but there was no water in it, so we were in the river and it rained. And I'm raving, doing a rave, with cold water running over my ankles, right, yeah? I got pneumonia that night.
That's probably my first real sort of vivid memory of things that were to come, and how good things were. And everyone got together, I suppose you could say one nation, I suppose, all together. They were good times, they were really good times.
We didn't know it was happening anywhere else until later on, sort of thing.
Raving for a year odd. I went over to Spain, again, big in Spain, Ibiza, Mallorca. It was just alive, it was happening abroad. And then unfortunately for myself, we ended up having a residency with King Juan Carlos in the Centro Penitenciario in Mallorca. We stayed there, me and a friend of mine, for 18.5 months.
I think at this time, Neville might have got involved.
Bam said, I'm going to do another party. Do you want to come in on it? So I did.
And he says, I know someone that's got a big mansion.
Well, he's my brother-in-law, Stuart Reed. He got the mansion through his friend.
They've got quite a big amount of land with it. So he said, why don't we go over there and have a look, and we'll do one of these parties. Went to this house and I was like, fucking hell, Nev, I wouldn't mind burgling this, then mind doing a party here, do you know what I mean? A load of trees down one side, a fence at the other side, fence coming up, then this big gateway. And the man's saying, yeah, on the night, me and my wife will go away, you can use our house if you need to sort anything out or stuff like that. We were like, we're going to have a mansion for the night as well. We had a little debate about it, and we were like, how are we going to do it? So me and Lisa ended up hiring a lorry. I was banned from driving at the time.
Then I had to hire a pickup in my name. I was like 19, something like that. And we had to build this big stage out of scaffold. And this van was literally tipped like that, going up the M69, wherever it was we were going. I don't even know where we were going. And the cab was literally like that, and I was petrified. And they were like, come on, you're all right, just get there, just get us there. And we got there, and the three of us built this stage and everything.
Me and Neville were just chatting and looking, and I think it's going to be wicked in here, isn't it, Jeff? And I'm like, yeah, Nev. And then he goes, did you see that? And I goes, what? See what? And he goes, in the bushes there. And there was police in the bushes with dogs, spying at us. Someone had told them that the party's going on, but what they couldn't do anything about was the fact that it was private land and it was just a party and we had permission.
And then that was the one where I had to go meet people at the Bantam. So I'm never at the house, and I had to go meet people at the Bantam and lead the convoy to the do. And that was a mad one because the police came.
The police had blocked off one end of the road and to the other end of the road, and we thought that was it. There was no more people getting in, no one getting out, and they were going to stop this party. But people just kept coming and saying, no, the police are fine. The police are fine with it. They're not going to stop it or anything. They're just telling everyone that you need to be safe. There's no toilets there and stuff like this. It was more about people's safety and people's welfare that the police were more interested in. But as the night went on and more people got there, they opened the roads up and the police come down. They were standing at a gate watching everything, having a laugh with us and that. And everyone's like dancing all off their heads. The police go, look at the state of them. They're not hurting anybody. We say, no, well, that's what we're saying. They ain't hurting anybody. They might all be off their heads on whatever, but let them carry on with it. And the police says, well, we just seem to be doing something. We just seem to be, we're doing something. We are trying to stop it, sort of thing. Where in London, they were stopping it. They were stopping big parties in London. One at Canal Road we done, and House 1 and House 2 in this derelict barn sort of thing. They were nothing on this one. This was an outdoor. It was the summer. It was red hot, and that's when everyone was saying, "Oh, the summer of love," and that was amazing.
And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger from there. Then
our organisation was starting to grow. Our DJs were starting to grow. We just had this fire in us to get up, and this is what we wanted to do. We had never had anything like this. We were dragged up, not brought up.
And then we were attracting people from, other towns then as well.
From Birmingham, Daventry, Rugby.
People got to know people. Oh, where are you from, mate? I'm from Leicester. All right, mate, I'm from Coventry. Nice to meet you.
It is hard to explain. It's just good times. It was happy times, weren't it? We didn't come there for violence. We came there to have a good time.
They weren't getting no trouble off anybody. They were safe.
This is just something new, totally to us.
And the picture what the media was painting was nowhere near it. Nowhere near what they were painting. We were like, I don't know, devils and children of the night. Well, we was children of the night and we was devils, yeah, that's right.
Have a dance, have a pill.
It brought people together.
And the fun was underground, not overground.
The atmosphere, and it was a lot of love.
People were taking this like it was a religion.
That's how it was when raving started.
We just knew it was travelling somewhere, it was going somewhere. Although we were still young kids, we didn't have a clue what we were doing.
And I don't think the government knew how much it took a grip of all of us, all right? And how much fun we were having them run round after us with helicopters or whatever they were doing. We were always one step ahead. They had to go with it for a while until they conjured up some bloody new laws. From that time that we had a lot more trouble from the police.
Well, obviously the police and the government didn't like these large gatherings, because it wasn't taxed. There was a lot more problems with the drugs, so that's what they were monitoring. The selling of them, and not the fact that there was music being played, it was the fact that there was that going on, and they knew that. And that's probably why they thought, oh, well, hold on a minute, we can't have this. How dare they, get together and disobey us.
our building, they instigate like the pay party unit, which was like, they were dedicated to infiltrating and stopping and, you know, fissing parties. And I just thought, how fucking brilliant is that? You know, like, this little thing is now kind of, you're taking notice now, but for all the wrong fucking reasons again. So a dedicated unit investigating kids having fun was just, I just thought that was so hilariously funny in view of what else was going on in the country.
We found all these shops and there was flyers in all of them telling you Rain Dance is doing this, Energy's doing this, a place called Live the Dream in Manchester was doing it. All these flyers had a phone number on it and it was a 0898 number. So we decided to get these flyers done, acid party this, acid party that. Every time they showed something on the news, it was these big, massive marquee, like circus tents. We were like, we can do one of them. We ended up speaking to some tent hire people and said, like, we can't pay you now, but we will pay you on the night.
And I was doing the security on the front gate with some of my friends like Pee Wee and Fatty Faulkner. You know, we had our mates doing the door with us, like, you know, because we're an ex-football firm, but now we're running the raves.
When we got there, we were like, shit, look at the size of it. You would be able to see this from Coventry. And it was in Southall. So, and we thought, we are never, ever, we're not going to fill this.
I was doing the security most of the night because I weren't letting no one in free. I weren't getting ripped off.
Because we didn't have the money to fork out for these marquees. I don't even know if we paid him in the end, probably didn't.
It was absolutely wicked.
Jesus Christ, about 3,000 people turned up for this marquee.
Big, massive, giant marquee, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Brought the convoys of cars in from Coventry and everywhere. They came in, parked up, and I remember it, the weather was torrential.
The rain, the wind, the mud, it was on a slope, but no one cared.
In the morning, I'll never forget it, the farmer's son turned up, yeah? So anyway, he's going like, you know, what's going on here? I said, oh, your old man says we can do a party on his land. He said, he never told me. I said, well, he kept it a secret. He didn't want nobody to know. And like, so anyway, this son, he wore it. Anyway, he's thinking, well, my old man never told me about this. So we done that. Anyway, we done the party again. The marquee got took down, sound system got took down, and we hadn't been rented the land at all. Like, we just took the piss again, like.
After the marquee party, we thought, God, that was a bit too big. We need to go indoors a little bit. If we're going to do another one of these events, we're going to have to have this big marquee again. The police will have helicopters out. We thought we'd go back to indoors, but because you needed toilets and stuff like that, we needed to provide them sort of things. Do you know what I mean? But this was the main thing that the police were always banging on about, is welfare, toilets and stuff like that.
We had it planned, we had it advertised with flyers and posters and stuff, but we never had a venue on the day. We're doing a rave, me and Bam, and we never had a venue. We're driving through Alderman's Green and there's this brand new warehouse. We've clocked it, the back door was open of the warehouse, empty warehouse, never been used.
It was a nice building, and I said to Neville, there's a number on there, that's to let. Why don't we ring them up and see if we can rent it off them? Nev was like, yeah, I suppose we could, but why don't we just get in there? Why don't we just get someone to change the locks?
We changed the locks on the front door of the warehouse and the back door of the warehouse. We brought the sound system in. We got it all set up. There's people at the Vauxhall pub, the Crown in Bell Green, all waiting for like, Nev, when's it going off? And I'm sure this is the first time we had Sasha.
Sasha was a proper down-to-earth kid, do you know what I mean? He was straight away, he says, yeah, I'll come to the Midlands. So he turned up and looked at this venue we had and it was like, wow, fucking hell, this is wicked. So we ended up getting him in there. And that was the first time he ever played for us. It was the first time we ever had someone from the north or the south of England playing for us, and it was like a massive thing.
I think we had Dobbo, I think Man Paris was there.
You know, he played for probably 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and just absolutely made this night.
They got a drift of it, the police, and they did have a helicopter, and they had roadblocks up. Everyone that got in there, the cops were actually showing you where it was because, you know, we'd beat them again, like, you know, so they were going, yeah, just go down there, it's okay. And that is when Sasha played another classical song. I don't know, that was like one of my biggest raves for the time. So I was just buzzing. I was the only MC. It was a brilliant gig, and then guess who waltzes in? My mother. Mum, what are you doing here? And she goes, well, son, you know you said you had a sore throat. I thought I'd better bring you a flask of coffee, right? And she's brought this. And I goes, how did you get through the police? She goes, I got my nurse's outfit on, so I told them I was nurse for the... And I could go on, Mum, fair play to you, like, you know. And she got to see what I did. And so that was a magical time for me.
In the house we have DJ Sasha, Manchester, the Northern Hemisphere.
Couldn't understand why it was such a bad thing that, you know, there was hardly any trouble. And I mean, I get that there had to be some sort of policing over it.
It was the police that wanted to stop everything. They were clamping down properly, and it was hard. It was hard for us to even think about doing them and how we were going to organise them, how we were going to keep everything quiet.
I was scared. I was obviously scared for BAM because I didn't want him getting into trouble or anything like that, but BAM was always quite back. A lot of people didn't know that BAM was actually the founder of Amnesia House, to be honest, because he always kept himself back.
Neville had the idea of getting a lawyer, you know, who was a well-known lawyer, and we started to do things through him.
The police, yeah, in the end, they couldn't cope. We're Bell Green boys, yeah, like we know how to play cat and mouse with the police and that, and they just couldn't keep up with us. We had a bent contract signed up, typed up, and we had a front man to go out, and when the police turned up, what's going on here, lads, yeah? Oh, we're having a party, and the front man, who now runs,
we started to do things through him and do things the lawful way. And the police didn't like that. They did not like the fact that we were using a lawyer and we could just say, look, we've got this, and we were showing papers.
Anyway, he go out to the police with the contract. Hello, officer. Yeah, we've been hired this warehouse for the night off the owners, yeah. The police looked at the contract. Okay, yeah, everything's in order. See you later.
Hey, Van didn't tell me everything because he knows what a worrier I'd be. I thought it was all normal. So when the police turned up, but we shouldn't have been there. And that's when I remember Sasha being there at the Newage. That was in like the back of Wood End, the industrial estate that runs through there. That was mad. And the ice cream man was in that one as well.
So they went, we carried on. We had convoys of cars coming from everywhere. We done the party, it was amazing. And we actually cleaned the warehouse in the morning of all traces of anything. It was spotless when we left that warehouse. You know, like you wouldn't have even known we'd done a party there.
Yeah, then it went on to New Year's Eve, one called New Year's Eve Extravaganza.
I got a knock at the door on the morning of this rave and served with a writ. If you hold any parties in Coventry, you will be like arrested, fined, you know, like I had a writ against me. So I thought, well, okay, well, we weren't actually doing this party in Coventry. We had a massive warehouse in Rugby.
Someone said to us, they've got this venue, it's massive. They've been working there, building it, and we were like, yeah, well, come and have a look at it. So we went and had a look at it, and it was like, Jesus Christ, it was too big. It was absolutely enormous. It's probably 5 times bigger than anything we'd ever done. We can't put a sound system in there, what we've been using, because it wouldn't have been any good. So we had to talk to our sound system people and get bigger lighting shows.
We've been promoting this rave for quite a while, like, you know, a bit longer than before, you know, like, and people were coming from all over the country for this party. This was going to be big. This was going to be for 10,000 people, this was. They were coming.
A lot of energy and effort went into that, but we managed to plan it properly. We managed to plan it. We had an Arctic lorry with speakers on the back, all the decks, generators on it.
You know what? And the ITV actually promoted the event for us. by saying, do not turn up to this party will be stopped, putting it on the TV, thinking, well, great advertisement for us, you know, like, you know, this is wicked.
We had people coming from Coventry on back roads into Rugby, coming up the motorway, coming from London. The motorways were just fully blocked. Everywhere was at a standstill, and they were all heading for this place.
I knew I was being watched. So we had the sound system, which was Crusader Sound. They were black lads that had a sound system. They used to do it in hill fields and that. But the police were plotted on every exit out of Coventry. And what happened was, we got the sound system there, got the lights all set up, but the sound system got followed by the police.
At this time, there was no one really near the venue. It was the 0898 number that was guiding people in. The music was going, but it wasn't loud, it was all low. The smoke machines were going, lasers were going. It was like, right, cracker, this is it, this is brilliant. This is another one we're going to pull off.
The sound went on and the police just came from everywhere.
Police vans just drove in there, started driving at people. People were just running out. Everyone managed to get outside. The police drove the vans back outside, put the shutters down on the venue, and then everything just erupted.
I wasn't actually there when it got raided. I was on my way. Got the phone call, Nev, Avalanche, been raided. It all kicked off. There was violence with the police, cars.
Scuffles with police, people throwing things. It was just uproar. That was the end of the New Year's Eve extravaganza.
I got it on my pager, they've stopped it. So we're all in this bunch, we're all waiting at the tally-ho, right? And I thought, right, it's not on, I'm going.
I mean, I think we ended up going to a party in Stoke Aldermore where they knocked all the flats through. You know, like, you know, from one flat to another flat to another flat. So we ended up doing a party in the flats in Stoke Aldermore.
We all ended up in town in Reflections. Everybody was split up.
And they only followed me all the way home. All these ravers behind me, I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't know where the rave is, man. I've got all these people outside my house.
There was 10,000 people coming to that party that night from all over the country. And that's where we would have been like, you know, like your Energies in London and that. Amnesia House then we were a name then, like Amnesia was massive.
People who are probably getting a bit spoiled in London already are now prepared to leave London there and then come down here for a night out. And again, that kind of said, there's something fucking here, you know, there's something going on here.
I think the police had done their job. The police, they knew they'd done their job. If we'd have been able to do that one, there'd have been no stopping us sort of thing, do you know what I mean? That would have been a good investment. Getting hold of these 0898 numbers, we put one of them on our flyer, and then one day the phone rang, and it was the police. And he said his name and stuff like that. I'm from West Midlands Police. I'm part of the acid squad. Explained to us how he got the job, why he got the job. He wanted to speak to us. He said, look, I'm from Coventry myself. I'm the leading investigator over the whole of England to abandon these acid house rave scene. He said, you were the only people at the minute that we can't stop, and you're on my doorstep. I want to be able to come and meet you, talk to you, and give you an opportunity of being the first people to do all-night parties legal. And I was like, yeah, right, okay then, can we do this through a solicitor? Because we didn't want to just go and meet the police. We didn't know what we was up against, you know what I mean? At this time, my brother Mick come into it.
See, prior to that, me and Mick, we went to Freedom's Party down in London. It was a huge fucking demonstration down in London. Thousands of like ravers, you know, just turned up en masse and descended on Downing Street. It was just the maddest day because it literally brought the centre of London to a standstill. And me and Mick went down, flying, not an event, a mailing list. We went down with like thousands of these prepaid, you know, double-sided cards. All you had to do was fill your name and address in and then stick it in the post. It was all prepaid. And on the back of that, Amnesia built their mailing list.
Sort of said to Mick, go on, you go meet the cops. We don't want to meet them. He went and met the police. We got a solicitor involved. And the police were fine. They said, look, we're not interested what you have done. We know what you've done. We've been chasing you all over the place. We need you to stop. He said again, it's all about people's welfare.
Because it's unsafe, so there's going to be a fire, someone's going to get killed, stuff like that. So anyway, Mickey come to me and Bam and said, listen, I've been approached by the head of the Acid House unit. Like, they offered us the Sky Blue Connection.
Which is a sports centre.
For the first legal rave in the UK.
When the initial talk of like legality and the connection, I thought like bullshit, I think it's being set up here. I think the old bill company, they must have realised that this is too big a deal. If we can't fucking beat them, at least let's work with them.
They had to beat the police there and the fire people. And when the fire people come, they said, you can only have 500 people in here. And we were like, why? We've had more than that in a bigger rooms than this. And he says, no, it's not about that. He says, you've only got one fire exit there and one fire exit there. It's 250 people for that fire exit, 250 people for that one. So we were like, oh shit, this is no good then. And then the bloke says, why don't you pay to have another fire exit there, another fire exit there, another fire exit there, and another fire exit there? So they're really breeze block walls. That's all it was. It was just breeze block walls. So it was a case of cutting the breeze blocks out and putting a fire door there. But we couldn't pay him. We said, we ain't got the money to pay you. We still didn't have no money at this time, do you know what I mean? This was the first legal party in England for an all-night event off this copper that was from our own town, Coventry. And that was it.
So from hate to love, one tablet, one warehouse, couple of speakers, few little flickery lights, and the E, and the MC and the DJ. Hey, what a jigsaw. So you got this scattered jigsaw, Coventry, and then with one E, like I said, one rave, put the jigsaw all back together. And we were one. Proud of what we'd made, on our own. And people were getting pride and getting Cov's all right, man.